Men who are constantly being objective are emotionally immature. And if this is like your friend, your partner, your son, your whatever, well, if he's your son, you probably should teach him better, right? But if he's any of those other things, go ahead and pack it up and move around, all right? And the reason is because you cannot teach this type of person to think outside of this scope. The reason why they think objectively is not innocent because the emotional immaturity behind it is not innocent. This usually is when like the parents didn't develop their emotions enough or their experiences enough, right? And even if that didn't happen, the person just has not been exposed enough. The man has not been exposed enough. So as he moves through life, he's always constantly understanding his world as the outsider looking in. So he may not even understand when like his close friend group isn't necessarily as close to him as he may think he is to them, right? Girls he's dated, like any of that. And it's because he doesn't have a scope on what relationships should look like when they're going a certain way, or what they do look like when they're not going that way, right? They only have like that outsider looking in understanding. And so two things happen there. Because they don't understand the world, they don't have anywhere to place any nuance. They have no choice but to judge the women around them objectively, right? But this also comes from the second thing, which is fear. So if a man doesn't have enough experience with women, he cannot clock the women or predict the women or truly understand the woman to like a deeper degree. Even if he thinks that he does, he doesn't, right? And so this technically means he can't truly fulfill the woman, right? He can never fulfill the woman, because if he doesn't understand how he's showing up in the relationship or how she should show up in the relationship, he's doing things, she's doing things, etc., right? He's literally never fulfilling her, which means that he's constantly walking away, or women are walking away from him being unsatisfied. And he's going to perceive this completely different then I don't have the ability to fulfill women, okay? It's more of, why are women always crazy, or why are women, like the women I'm with, always doing certain things?
Notice, guys, she's pretty much coming to you with a female's perspective, with a female's point of view. And once again, this is why 70 to 80% of your women initiate divorce, and this is why a lot of your guys are just burning up their pockets, or just burning up because you dealt with a woman who is exactly like this, who said, man, listen, you essentially need to be optimistic and open-minded and this, that, and the third. And there have been so many men who have followed her mindset, her mantra, her way of being a man, right? Or her way of what a man should be, that it has burned so many men, right? So she's just essentially saying that, hey, man, listen, you need a guy that freaking go into a relationship open-minded on a field-to-field basis instead of a fact-to-fact basis. And this is the rhetoric and the gaslighting women would like to do that messes men up in the long term, right? Because understand, people, these are the same women that will initiate divorce. These are the same people that would initiate divorce. Thought life was based off of absolutes and not what we think. So for example, she could be wrong just about anything. She could be wrong about what she did, but hey, guess what? She's expecting you to be living life on a subjective level, right? Where you're just, hey, well, I guess, you know, hey, it is what it is. I guess I could be optimistic. I guess I can leave some room for some mess up. So hey, I guess I could do this. I guess I could. And it's just, once again, the mindset that she wants a man to have has been detrimental, and it's proven, statistically it's proven, when you have this type of mindset, it is very much so detrimental. And this is why you're seeing so many women initiate freaking divorce. This is why you see so many women initiate divorce. We've seen so many women say, hey, listen, a good man ain't good enough.
Sometimes a woman can talk her out of a relationship. You can talk, we do that.
Yes,
we will talk.
I'm gonna say something, and this might ruffle little feathers. I don't think just being a good man is enough to stay in a relationship with them.
But when I say a good man, I mean like he's good. That means all around. That means himself, spiritually, mentally, physically.
That's great.
Healthily, like he's a good man.
That doesn't mean that he's the man for you. And
right.
Maybe when you're going through these motions of getting to know him, you're realizing, okay, he's a great person, but honestly, I don't fuck with his humor. Like, he could be funny, but he's not funny to me.
And that's why a lot of modern women are getting 40 with 4 cats and no man, because he's a good man, but because he's not funny, you gotta throw that out.
How is a good man, a man who's doing everything you want, ain't good enough? But they will sit here and justify it. And they will call you weird. They will call you lame for simply looking at that and saying, hold on, that does not make any sense. We sat here, we done got married, we done been in a relationship, this, that, and the third, but then the second you get bored or something happens, you just want to up and leave. Right? And you want to take half of my stuff with it. This is a mindset that is detrimental to the Black community and to the sisterhood. And there are way too many sisters. I would say majority of sisters are walking around with this type of mindset. Anyway, to gaslight people from treating you like the adult you need to be treated as. She wants to control the relationship and pretty much have the relationship go her way. And the second you allow that to happen, she's going to be in full control. She's going to be in full control. All she's doing is just gaslighting and is pushing what she came up with in her head onto everyone else. And it's sick, but let's continue.
The accountability is pushed off onto the woman, okay? And the same reason why they do that, because they don't have enough nuance, is because they do not have the ability to sit comfortably with nuance, all right? So they already cannot fulfill the woman. They're already struggling with understanding her fully, and that's why they can't fulfill her, right? They're already struggling with understanding the real world implications of women. So if there is nuance that tells them that a woman falls outside of the category of how she's supposed to, he's not confident that she's going to treat him a certain way or show up in the relationship a certain way or whatever, because these rules, this theory that they're learning or they believe is God to them, okay? So if the woman has a certain amount of body, a certain body count, right? She's moved through the world a certain way. Maybe she's club, she's party, she's any of those things. There is nothing that man can do with her in reality in his head, okay? Now, he might still fuck with her, but he'll just like resent her or not respect her or whatever the case may be. And it is literally because of that. His brain tells him, if this woman does not fall into this category, I am in danger. Okay, for a lot of different reasons. I don't understand her. I can't please her. She could cross me. She could do anything. Okay, so yeah, and that is very troublesome and stressful for a woman to deal with, especially if you find yourself married to this man and you had kids with this man. Living hell moving forward, right? Especially because you cannot teach them out of those insecurities or out of that exposure, a lack of exposure, right, and into a higher self-esteem or a higher emotional maturity. And so when you start to notice that a man judges things by the books and by theory to a fault, you need to go ahead and move around.
And there you have it, folks. You allow these women to continue to talk long enough, they will just expose themselves. They will expose themselves every single time. And you just gotta love it. These are the women that want you to be optimistic. These are the women that want to gaslight you and have you think like a woman. These are the type of women that will sit here and say, hey, you're wrong for thinking about us the way you do. She literally just told on herself and pretty much gave men a reason as to why they should look at marriages and relationships objectively. Because once again, you just said, man, listen, a man can never truly fulfill a woman. Then why as a man it would be smart for him to jump into the relationship? Why as a man would it be smart for him to be optimistic, to be so open-minded, to be so subjective, right? When these women, when no matter how hard you try to make them happy, it will never work. It will never work. You literally have Tia Mowry, who said she was in a great relationship. I'm starting to see a lot more women now who say they had a good marriage. They had a perfect marriage. There was nothing wrong with their marriage, but yet they are part of the 70 to 80% of women who are divorcees. It just does not make any sense, right? They're part of the 70 to 80% of women who initiated a divorce. Why? Because she just told y'all. You can never really please, fulfill, or satisfy women because they have this type of mindset. You can't satisfy women because it's just women. But yet they swear up and down they're equal to men. Yet they swear up and down they can do the same thing as men. But yet you don't hear men trying to gaslight women into just dating men and to just accept any type of behavior. It doesn't work that way, buddy. It doesn't work that way. We even tell women, you need to be very serious about you need to be very serious about your intentions on the type of guys you deal with, on the type of guys you date, on top whatever, right? But you need to be very serious, right, about everything you're saying. Once again, this woman is intimidated because the second men start to see that 70 to 80% of your women initiate divorce, and he starts to see as women who are like this, who act like they got the answers to everything, but yet they're the same ones that want to initiate divorce. Once again, these guys start to look at relationships on a fact-to-fact basis. These women then get upset with that because, once again, this is the reason why they can't get married. This right here is the reason why they can't get married. And when men catch on to that, they get upset, they get flustered by that. So they then start to sit here and lie and start to push narratives to help them out, right? And it's just sick. But guys, would y'all sit here and marry that? Would y'all sit here and marry that? Once again, this is just a woman who is just keeping other women single, right? And it's sad, but hey man, look, let me use favor, let me like, let me comment, subscribe to the channel. Till the next one.